Stadt zwar noch nicht. Meine Kanäle, die Kultur, die Musik, die Kunst, die Leidenschaft. Hier fließen Tradition und Moderne zusammen. Am Tor zur Welt. Du weißt noch nichts über uns. Doch das ist nicht von Bedeutung. Es gibt etwas, das uns verbindet. Das ist deine Bestimmung.
Meine Stadt.
Hamburg.
Das Herz Europas.
Wir werden kämpfen.
Daran besteht kein Zweifel.
Ich werde da sein.
Mach dich bereit.
Für das Finale.
Good evening, Hamburg, and welcome to the EU LCS Spring Finals. We are live here from the Barclaycard Arena for the biggest series of this split, the fight for the championship trophy between G2 and the Unicorns of Love. We are gearing up for our pre-show, and the Barclaycard Arena is looking quite full already. People are filing in and getting ready to see the best teams in Europe fight for that trophy. A lot of Unicorns fans in the house, a lot of Pink and Black, and a lot of G2 Esports fans as well. The Unicorns getting into the zone. Romas has something special up his sleeve, as always. And the player rooms where G2 was concentrating before this all-important bout that will finalize their spring split. Hello, everyone. I'm EpicSkillshot supporter, and joining me in the pre-game lobby today are Andrew Verius Day, Splice's Jonas Trashy Anderson, and Misfits' Tristan Power of Evil Schrage. Well... Ja, Tristan, herzlich willkommen. Natürlich muss gestern ein bisschen enttäuschend gewesen sein für dich, aber trotzdem muss es schön sein, hier zu sein, zusammen mit all diesen deutschen Fans.
Ja, also die Stimmung hier in Hamburg ist einfach unglaublich. Ihr seid einfach alle klasse und ich habe das auch schon gestern gesagt gehabt, aber die Unterstützung, die wir bekommen, ist einfach ohne Worte, und ich hoffe, dass die Stimmung so jetzt im Finale auch weiter bleibt.
Ja, natürlich. Yeah, Tristan, also for the viewers at home, very happy to be here. Yesterday, of course, a little bit of a disappointment, but a lot of support from the German community, and they have been on point, and they're going to be on point today because the finals weekend in Hamburg has the culmination today with G2 versus the Unicorns of Love. But yesterday, we had that third place decider, Fnatic. They showed their strength against the Misfits. Unfortunately, Tristan, for you, it was a 3-0 sweep, which not a lot of people had expected it to be that clean from the side of Fnatic. What was your TLDR of what went wrong?
I think the first game was the most important one for us, since for some players it's like the first time on big stage, so we kind of needed to get that, I think, confidence boost for our players. After losing that one, I think we just didn't have the synergy. So, like, compared to Fnatic, they just had way better synergy and they just capitalized on our mistakes. And as soon as we sometimes had the lead, but we just threw it away, and Fnatic didn't do that. They just had the lead and just outplayed us.
Yeah, and I think Misfits made a lot of mistakes in the early game, and
Fnatic kind of capitalized on it, and when you do these mistakes against a team like Fnatic, they will just roll over you, and that's kind of what happened.
That is what happened, and if anything, the arena was absolutely electric yesterday already. The hometown crowd fired up, and if it's any indication for what's happening today, it's going to be wild. Let's take a quick look back and get a taste of the action. Guten Tag und herzlich willkommen in Hamburg!
Dodges out the root collar, clean sidesteps.
No flash on Soaz, that's already been used. Alfari, if he escapes the next
Trigger seed, Alfari definitely triggered after that. First blood drop for Fnatic. Misfits were so close in the bottom lane. Looking for a little bit more. It's flash out to safety from Ignore. Fnatic, are they going to go for more? Flash in, root collar, trigger seed. There's the ultimate. They're looking to keep the play going. Reckless is a man in trouble, but he just won't die. Once again, Reckless is unkillable. Leap forward, Alfari drops everything. Trying to start the fight. Ignore is locked up. Alfari, they're moving. They're trying to get more, but Kakao, he's going to get taken down.
Ansama is untouched, so he could maybe clean up this team fight.
Maybe looking for a bit more. Soaz running forward, trying to juke, trying to jive, trying to take down Alfari. Body slam's going to go wide. Soaz gonna get the outplay in the end.
Well, a wonderful video there, and it showed how electric the crowd was already. And I think they wanted more games. Unfortunately, it was only 3, but let's hope we see 5 of them today. And we also have to say again that yesterday it wasn't just for the pride and glory here in Hamburg. Also, it earned Fnatic championship points, 50 to be exact, as well as 30 for Misfits. And that is very important in the fight for World 2017, the road to China.
It certainly will be, and the points today are going to be stacking up as well. Getting 90 points in that first place spot is going to mean a lot moving into Summer Split and moving towards that World Championship.
I mean, I really got to feel it last year when we as Splice didn't have any points going into Summer Split, how hard it actually is to qualify for Worlds. So these points really matters.
And you got 30 points still. That means you have a start to go into the Summer
right now
Split.
I'm not really looking into the points since like we just lost yesterday, and we're like, or at least for me, when I saw this video, it's kind of heartbreaking since I wanted to win at least 1 game here in this arena, but I guess for Summer Split we have a lot to improve on, and I'm sure we can make it.
Well, you know how you can make it up to them. Just win the Summer Split and go
Yes,
straight
we
to
don't need
Worlds.
points, but
Yeah, there you go.
we're looking for first place Summer Split, so we don't need them.
Yeah, that's always a route to go. And now these guys are also looking for the championship today. Today's finalists, G2 and the Unicorns of Love. And what a fantastic final that has brought us here to Hamburg. And if we look at the split and how everything is played out, it couldn't be 2 better finalists.
No, it could not be. Both teams throughout the regular season have dominated their groups. They have been consistently good, and they have only shown growth. And it's exciting to see how that will all culminate here on the Hamburg stage.
Yeah, definitely. There we see the results in the playoffs. But when we look at the overview of the split, G2 12-1 on the split. The Unicorns of Love 11-2 on the split. All impressive series wins and not that big of a difference. And I want to talk to you guys about kind of expectations that we had before the split and teams living up to those. Let's start with the Unicorns of Love. It seems like they're always fighting against that moniker of, oh, they won't be consistent and they won't stay at the top. But Tristan, they've had their best split this spring, maybe since the spring split in 2015 when you guys went all the way to the finals and you were also still a unicorn that fabled fast. So why do you think they've been so strong?
I think the biggest part about UL is that they have Vizichachi and Hilisang for like 2 years already. I think even 3 years, because back in Challenger Series, and they were like all the time consistent and always like on the best of their roles, like always like top 3. And they're kind of the backbone of UL, so it's really easy for the new players to come into the team and adapt and just learn from them, I think.
Stepping up to the plate in interviews, Chachi has also said, well, it's all just gelling very well. All the entourage is working, all the players are fighting for the same goal, and they've been the most consistent that we've ever seen them.
They really have. It's wonderful to see Unicorns of Love always picking up these rookie individual players and turning them into superstars. Exile, Xerxes, they really have been stepping up, along with Samex as well, to becoming some of the best performing players here in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, we need to praise the system they're working with, like just bringing rather unknown players and bringing them to this kind of level of play is just so impressive to me. me. So a lot of props to UL overall.
Definitely so. Well, they had a fantastic spring split. Then they went into the semifinals with a bye and continued their dominance in the semifinals over Misfits. A 3-1 victory. Of course, Tristan, you were in that best of 5, and they just seemed incredibly strong. What was the tipping point for the Unicorns in that series?
I think the strongest part of UL is like the jungle and top lane synergy right now. I think Perkz, obviously a rookie of the split, and Vitserchi MVP of the split. So you can see that they're both like really dominating in their roles, and I think that's like the strongest part right now, I think.
And they just work well together as a team. Like they seem to always be on the same page about how they want to execute the game, and just having that strength has brought them this far, I think. So.
Yeah, they dropped one game there, but I don't think, no offense, they actually broke a sweat there. They had their eye set on this final.
They did, but there is also another team on the other side of the rift that has that eye as well. And G2, while we praise a lot for the Unicorns of Love, have also been equally dominant. Our expectations coming into the split were, these guys, they're going to be dominating over Europe. They've already done it for a year now. They added that additional support structure, and they've just been flourishing. We've seen a few ups and downs from the team, but overall, they've come into playoffs looking to make their way to the final and secure that top spot.
Well, definitely, they had won 2 splits back-to-back last year. They had those, well, dodgy international performances, but how, as a team that you've already dominated this region, how do you, as G2, how do you improve on those little margins?
I mean, they went to MSI, and I feel like from hearing from the players, they felt like they learned a lot from MSI. Like they learned a new kind of way to play, and they're not just aiming to win EU LCS. They want to look further than this. Like they want to make sure that they perform at an international level. So that is kind of their goal, and it really shows.
That it does. And while the G2 and Unicorns of Love have similar records, the way in which they pick up their wins is vastly different. If we take a step back and look at the Unicorns of Love, it is very clear, and we've said this all split, they have a go button and they press it if it's going to go bad or good, but most of the time for them, it works out well.
What I love about the Unicorns is how it seems very steady, it seems very even, but then they build themselves up what seems to be a little bit of a springboard, and then once they've got that cushion of gold, they pounce, they go all in, and they force these objectives. They do so well at pushing that gold lead that they've already built themselves up.
On the other side, G2, they always have a steady slope. They build up their differences, or they come back in a game. They don't peak as much at certain moments. And what makes them so good and what makes them so steady?
I think the biggest difference between UL and G2 is that both teams can easily come back in games. So if you look at Misfits, I feel like we lose every game if we're 20 minutes behind. But UL is this kind of team who, if they're behind at 20 minutes, they just fight, and they just fight their way back in. And I think G2 in difference is that they can come back through macro, and I'm really hyped to see.
And a lot of this comes down to the jungler trick. He likes to, in the mid game, just grind it out. Like he likes to just farm his jungle, farm the enemy jungle, and then just empower himself to be really strong in the mid game. And this is kind of the style G2 has said that they like to play. Like play around your jungler and make sure that he has a really good game.
Yeah, and if we look historically, or this split, at least when G2 faced off against the Unicorns of Love, that is what we saw. The Unicorns of Love would even get advantages in those games, but against G2, they just kind of wait and come back, and Unicorns of Love could never hold on, so how will they today?
Well, the one thing that we have seen G2 struggle with in the past is the unexpected. When you throw a curveball in this planned out macro style, they can struggle. And while they are very good at adapting throughout the series, I think that the Unicorns can bring out something surprising to catch G2 off guard.
Well, we will see what happens today. We are getting closer and closer to that opening ceremony, 16 minutes and a half away. And for now, G2, well, they have a chance to win their 3rd championship in a row. We talked to some of their key members to get their thoughts before the finals.
There's this circle of talk trash and win, and everyone loves you. Talk trash and lose, and everyone hates you.
When we won the split, I think like everything turned around, like everyone started loving G2. And then we went to MSI, and there was it was handled really poorly by the organization.
For example, you say things like, NA is a wildcard, haha, you know, it's a joke and banter. But if you lose and you go 1-5 at Worlds, and the team that makes out of groups is wildcard for the first time in all years of Worlds, then you kind of deserve to get done. I know Luca got really affected by it. The Worlds situation happened, and he's only 17 at that time, and he got a lot of hate.
After that, it just went downhill, because I was also an outspoken player, because that's what everyone wanted. Everyone wanted an outspoken personality, so I gave them, and then people just used it against me. So after we lost to Albus Nox, I went to my room and cried, and I didn't want to be a pro gamer anymore. I mean, that all went away really fast, you know, but it's just in the moment, like how it affects me in the moment. After that, I just like took some time off.
I think now he's better than ever, and so is the rest of our team. And we're trying our hardest to redeem what we screwed up in 2016.
Hey guys, I'm joined now by Joey, coach of G2 Esports, as we get ready for the finals of the EU LCS Spring Split. You guys are going up against Unicorns of Love today. Tell me, how is the team feeling about the matchup?
I think they're very excited to play against Unicorns. It's been a clash that we've seen coming for several weeks or even months. And we have a lot of respect for the Unicorns, so they're a little bit nervous, a little bit excited, but it's a lot of good emotions.
All right, now you guys have won twice before. Now tell me, how is this experience going to be different playing in Hamburg versus the last two times that you guys have been able to take the crown here in the EU LCS?
So besides there being a lot more on the line today, I also think they've grown a lot more since I am. So we're facing a new Unicorns today and not the same Unicorns that we beat earlier in the split.
When you look at the Unicorns lineup, when you look across the team, what do you think is going to be the biggest threat towards what you guys want to do?
I think overall team play, how they coordinate and group up in mid lane is very scary. And because they really like to throw everything at you. They just group up in mid lane and throw everything at you. And if you can fight back, you probably win. If you can't fight back, then you're going to the next game.
Definitely rough. We've seen a few teams fall to that already. Now, we're playing in Hamburg. It feels kind of like Unicorns' home turf. Crowd maybe in favor of the Unicorns' love. Are you at all worried about the crowd being against you guys today?
We are no strangers to the crowd being against us, so we'll be fine.
Good to hear. All right, so looking across the board, players seem to be doing well. Is there anything special you guys have cooked up to deal with the Unicorns today?
If I did, I wouldn't have told you.
Absolutely fair. All right, well, looking at this, is this going to be the hardest final that you've played so far in your career?
Absolutely. I think it will be the hardest final. Unicorns is better than the opponents we faced in the finals last year. And I just think they are a good macro team right now, so it's going to be very tough.
Okay. Well, at the end of the day, I think we can just round it out and get a prediction from you. Who's going to take the series? What's the score going to be, Young Buck?
As usual, a good 3-1 victory for G2.
Not even the 3-2. All right, well, there you have it. That's going to do it for us. Thank you so much, Joey, for talking to me. Now we're going to send it back to Shocks to further break this down.
Well, thank you very much. Very nice to hear that from Youngbuk and also from Sven and Perkz right before that, and just showing the emotion of, yeah, it was tough on us. Of course it's tough on us, but we want to take this chance to go to MSI and prove that we can, and we have to have respect for what G2 has done. They've made changes in the entourage of the team. They've put special emphasis on broadening how they deal with these situations and on strengthening themselves.
It is wonderful to see how much the players have grown over the last year from the side of G2. Perkz especially. This was a guy that at the start of the split, we were wondering, is this guy really still up to scratch? And then he comes in and he performs spectacularly.
Well, also, you guys are also quite young players and you have to deal with a lot of criticism. I think it's quite remarkable what Perkz is going through and just being able to, well, perform so steadily and come back and show everyone up in the spring split here, Power.
Well, in the end, as Vedjus already said, he grew a lot as a player, and I think all this like negative feedback or negative comments, in the end, it makes you only stronger, I think, or like all the negative things I got in the Origins, just like it just lets you get like just stronger in general as a player, and you don't really get frustrated about these comments, and I think Perkz is like that now.
Yeah, I mean, I got to see Perkz' face after what happened at Worlds, and it was really heartbreaking. But the fact that he's here now, even better, just tells a lot about him. So I'm really proud of him, yeah.
Well, that is for G2 and also for the side of Unicorns of Love. Always have received a lot of criticism, and they're here to show everyone that they're worthy of that final spot. And earlier, Stress, he sat down with the Unicorns of Love's coach, who is leading the team into the finals for the second time.
Hey, Stress here backstage as we get ready for the big EU LCS finals. Here with Fabian Schiepi-Milan from Hamburg yourself. I have to first ask you, it's been 2 years since the Unicorns were last in a final. What is different with this team compared to how you were faced off in the 2015 Spring Finals?
I feel that when we got into the split the first time and we made finals, we really didn't know if after 3 months we're in the finals or we're out of LCS, so we just played to play. And now we're coming in with a little bit more expectations, and I think also being more professional now. We have more staff, we have more preparation, and we are more precise in what we're doing. So I think really that's the biggest difference right now between us before, who kind of played to play, I think Power said this term as well, and now being really professional and very goal-oriented.
And that certainly seems to be paying off for you guys. Rookie of the split, MVP of the split announced yesterday. Is that all the behind-the-scenes stuff? Is this the right mix of players for you? Like, how has this Unicorns gelled? Because your organization's been quite outspoken about how you select players.
I think that everyone is just adding to the pool, and everyone's just working so hard, and it's very motivating for all the players, seeing each other, scrimming all day, playing all day. So I think that everyone's adding to it. I think we have also really clear standards of what we want to have in the team, and what makes everybody happy, being successful, and long-term happiness as well. So I think that right now we are gelling really well together. I think everyone is extremely talented, and I'm just really happy at the position right now where I'm as well, since I'm learning every day, and I feel like the people are learning every day as well, and I think everyone's just really happy.
You guys have had a fantastic performance this split. Now you face G2, two-time EU LCS champions. Now this would be their third finals appearance today. What worries you, perhaps, about facing off a team like G2?
Well, what worries me is that they're pretty good, so it will be a really tough series. And going into this game, it's always difficult playing G2. They're generally well prepared, and they are having really strong players in every position. I feel if we are performing to our best, we can definitely beat them. And I feel we have a really good sense of how to play the map right now. And this is the strongest we've ever been. But yeah, facing against G2 is always difficult. They are a really strong team, and I think that's like the only thing that worries me overall. But even then, whoever is performing better in the end of the day is deserving the spots. But yeah, we want it really badly.
Everybody always says facing the Unicorns in a best of 5 is a tricky thing. Now, of course, you guys have gone from strength to strength this split. You can't tell me what, but is there any magic, Unicorns magic in the tank for today's best of 5 final?
Maybe, perhaps. I mean, we have always situations. It's become a little bit harder to get out of the meta picks really well integrated. But we're smart about our pick and ban phase. So if something shows up, we will definitely capitalize on that.
We're looking forward to that. One last opportunity, though, Sheepy, before you head on stage. The fans are just filtering into the venue now. Anything you'd like to say to your home crowd here in Hamburg?
I'm just super happy for everyone that I can be here, and I'm just so grateful. I have 22 people from my family all in the crowd as well, and I'm super excited. I can't wait to go out there and wave everyone and just sink in the atmosphere. So I'm really looking forward to that.
I think everybody's looking forward to it as well. We're going to head it back over to the analyst desk as we get closer to the opening ceremony.
Well, there you see it's 7 minutes and a half away. And, well, listening to Sheepy, always a pleasure. Tristan, you know him very well. He was there in 2015, straight from the start. The Unicorns of Love's organization was built here in Hamburg. Can you speak a little bit to Sheepy as a leader from what you remember, of course, and I expect you're still good friends.
Yeah, I'm still good friends with Sheepy, and as you already said, I think he phrased it really good. Back then, we kind of just played to play, just played to have fun. And I think, as you already stated, it's more and more getting every year more professional, and I think you can just see that their success as well.
Something that I found really interesting, both Youngbuck and Sheepy commented on the macro. Youngbuck said, well, their macro is actually in a really good place from the Unicorns. Sheepy also commented on it. That's not usually something we identify the Unicorns with. So what is it? It's a different kind of, I think, the straightforward macro objective control that we're used to.
One of the things that we have to praise the Unicorns for is that their jungler Xerxes is an incredibly smart individual, and that allows him to set up vision in a way that they can force fights in such intricate and interesting ways. The fact that Chachi is always to get such effective flanks off, and the way in which Unicorns are able to force these fights is what enables them to have this great macro play.
Who's better at team fighting, G2 or the Unicorns?
Well, I think it's gonna come down to pick and ban, obviously, but it's interesting that Youngbuck is saying that it's a lot about controlling the mid lane in the mid game, and it's something that Unicorn has been doing very well, grouping up as 4 and pressuring the mid wave and then getting vision, and it's something we have to really look out for in the series, I think.
Yeah, and talking about the mid lane, we have to look at that, a worthy final with hype matchups across the board, but in that mid lane, the last German standing, Exile, is going up versus Perkz, and it's going to be a tough matchup for both sides, or is it Power of Evil? You played versus Exile just last week.
Well, I think Exile is a really, really strong player. I think the only problem he has is he's really inconsistent. So his laning phase, he's sometimes just dying way too much, and Perkz, lately, is playing really, really good. So I think if Exile can survive the laning phase and just play more consistent for his team, I think they can easily pick up the game, since UL's strongest side is, I think, the top lane. So I think Exile should just play defensive and
Is that possible though?
Yeah.
Perkz has looked incredible.
Yeah, and even the last time that they met, Perkz was even able to get a solo kill onto Exile. And the thing that worries me for B is that Exile is in a big crowd in his hometown, and I feel that he's going to try and make the hero play, and he needs to resist that urge because Perkz is lying in wait. And as an individual, he will punish you if he sees a window to do so.
Yeah, definitely. We spoke a lot about Perkz as a person and his growth, Trashy, but just on the Rift, he's shown that he has grown in the macro as well as in the micro sense of the game.
He definitely plays for the team now rather than in the start where he was more playing for like solo killing people, but now he's grown to be a smart player and does smart decisions, and it really fits the G2 style.
That it does. And when we take a look back from the mid lane, we look at the entire map. Where is the win conditions for both of these teams? Well, the Unicorns of they have the Spring Series MVP, Vizicachi. They also have the Rookie of the Split in Xerxes, and that jungle top synergy, that duo, we touched on it already, will prove to be very important because it might be the biggest discrepancy or in for both teams in the game.
Yeah, it's going to be so important for both teams what kind of matchups we're going for. I think for UL, they really want to look to put Vizicachi on a champion where he can dominate the lane. He has shown it before, he can dominate the lane, and I feel like this is one of the strong parts of UL.
I think the winning condition for UL is top and jungle, and I think the winning condition for G2 is mid and jungle. So I think it comes down to who can help the other lanes a little bit better, who can get set up vision way better. And I think it pretty much comes down to this.
All right, well, 4 minutes to go until the opening ceremony. I first got to ask, Hamburg, bist du bereit? Well, I guess they are ready, and I want to get more into the zone and bring the fire. What are your predictions? Who is going to win? Who is going to be our Spring Split finalist and our winner?
So I think that the Unicorns are looking poised, they're looking ready, and they are looking fierce to try and take this series. But it will be G2 that will cut them down and will take the series 3-1.
Oh. The public opinion does not agree with you, but...
I mean, for me, you might be fooled by my choice of clothing because I'm also on the G2 hype train. I brought my G2 swag, and even though it doesn't fit me, I'm sure G2 will smash Unicorns today.
You're absolutely ridiculous with that hat, by the way.
Well, I guess I'm the only one who believes in magic. So I would say Unicorns is going to win 3-2. I think it goes down to 5 games. And I would love if everyone here in this arena is saying Unicorns when I say fear our horns. Fear our horns! Oh.
I don't think, yeah, they heard.
Fear our horns!
There you go. Well, a lot of Unicorns of Love fans. And G2, you know, they've said it already. They're used to this. They don't always have all of the support, but they've won 2 splits in a row. They've dominated, and they've stated publicly, this is what we want to do. Yes, we want to be the champion again in Europe, but we want to go to MSI. We want to start doing well on the international stage, and they have to put it all on the line, because if they don't win here today, as the wave starts going around in the stadium, they don't even go to MSI.
Nope, it is going to be a tough road ahead for G2. They are constantly playing under pressure, and nothing will change them today. But as Joey said, this is a team that knows how to play under pressure, and I feel that they can thrive under it.
And then the Unicorns of Love, we talk about magic, but they've actually thrown that away and said, we're just going to win and be consistent and not always rely on those crazy picks. And if the stars would align, this is where the organization was forged. This is 2 years in the making for their final. The momentum for these players must be extremely high.
And I mean, I know the more young players out there, they're tripping, you know, they can hear the crowd. It's such an awesome experience playing in front of such a huge crowd, and I wish I would. I wish I would be doing it, but sadly no. So yeah, I really hope they are gonna enjoy it at least.
I think like even people like Kili-san and Chachi, like they're kind of used to the stage, but I'm really sure that they're like right now thinking like, this is our shot, this is our chance to win it, and they will like give everything, like they're 110% to win today.
Yeah, and if anything here, the crowd is super, super riled up. Unicorns of Love fans, G2 fans, I think they're a bit tired of hearing us talk. I think they want to start to see the players on stage very, very soon, and we are getting closer. You guys excited? are just moments away from the final fight, so join us in the Barclaycard Arena as we kick off the 2017 EU LCS Spring Finals!